So, about 5 years ago, I ended up lucking into a senior editor position at a humor magazine at a local university. And one of the problems with lucking into the senior editor position at the local humor magazine was that it was kind of a troubled magazine. It had a troubled history with the university itself. It had taken some really unfair shots and really done some very malicious things to various members of the faculty and staff and students. So myself and the new editor-in-chief decided that we were going to walk into the president of the university's office with an appointment. We were going to walk into his office, be very polite, explain to him that we were planning on doing something that was more funny because it was funny, less because it was malicious, and ask sort of for a do-over because we had almost lost our funding and whatnot the previous year. So we go in and we explain to him our plans and we explain to him what we want to do. And he thinks it's great. You know, he's a very friendly guy, and he agrees that what we're doing seems pretty good. So he endorses us fully, and we get pretty much his ring of approval. So flash forward a little bit, and am I breaking up here? Okay, flash forward a little bit, and we're working on the first issue. And our first issue is this sort of like business / rebellion issue. And the reason we call it that is that we were pushing off this thing that the magazine got bought out by a bank, and then the deal was going to be that the bank itself sort of replaced all the writers with these bunch of schmucks who don't actually know what they're doing. They're just writing business articles, but they have no idea what's going on. But we made it look like a business magazine. We had all these fake ads and everything. It was really brilliantly done, if I don't toot my own horn. But yeah, it was pretty well done, and we took 3 or 4 weeks to get this whole thing together, which is a long time for a college project, because usually people get tired of it after like 2 days. So we put this whole thing together, and we set to work on the rebellion issue side of it. And the idea was going to be that all the people who got fired from the magazine, who were these bunch of just, complete slack-ass losers who had, no actual intentions of doing anything with their time in college in the first place, and now found themselves without a publication, were going to just start writing all their own stuff anyway, and they were going to print it out on like the computer lab printer paper, and they were just going to distribute it their own selves. And part of it is that it was going to be a very haphazard thing. There's just going to be mostly cut and paste. There's going to be very little editing, not a whole lot to it. So it was basically just one sleepless, Adderall-fueled weekend of complete lunacy inside our publication suite. And we actually managed to get it put out. It was about 30 pages long. We printed it all out on computer lab paper from the different computer labs around campus. So probably, I think, 400 to 500 issues of this thing, and then we handed it out, and we wasted a tremendous amount of trees and a lot of university money. So we had this thing out, and we're pretty happy because this is something pretty ambitious for the magazine. And myself and Jeff, the editor-in-chief, are just kind of sitting back, like looking at what we can do better for the next issue, stuff like that. And we get a phone call from our old editor-in-chief, Kevin, who's still at the college. And I lived with Jeff at the time, so I get one side of this phone call, but not the other. And all I hear is, "Oh, hey, yeah, how's it going, man? Oh, yeah, you saw the rebellion issue. Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, wait, what? What's on page 20? Ah, shit." Because we didn't have a very thorough editing process for this rebellion issue, given the way that it was, somebody had slipped a picture into it, and this picture, I'll demonstrate a little bit. It was a woman, quite good-looking from the angle at which we saw her, I guess. But she was doing one of these, with the hand like up in the middle. I don't know what it's called in the business, but on the Discovery Channel, it's called presenting. And that actually, tasteless, probably, pornographic, definitely, but that actually couldn't really get us in too much trouble. What could get us in trouble was the 2 feet of horse penis entering her vagina. Somebody had decided to print bestiality in this magazine, and I'll spare you the phone calls that we went through over the next couple of weeks with various lawyers and authorities around the university. But it turns out that it wasn't illegal to distribute bestiality in New Jersey up until like 2 years ago. So I'm sorry to spoil any hopes here. If you, but yeah, so that was that, and then we had to end up walking into the president's office yet again and ask for yet another do-over.